Okay, I think I'm live. If you all have a count, send me a comment. Let me know that I'm actually live. With the camera that I have set up, I'm only going to be able to do a view of my paper here so that I can help you all out. Okay. So I see that some of you are on, and I was going to do whatever questions you all needed. If you all can tell me what questions you need. Hi, Nevaeh. I see your comment. So yeah, I can go over whatever you all need. Just let me know. Can you all hear me okay? Is the hearing okay? How do you turn the work in? Okay, Nevaeh, what work are you talking about? From Delta Math, from Schoology, paper? Cindy said we can't hear anything. Trying to see what's going on. Okay, Cindy, I think Nevaeh can hear me, so I'm not for sure what's going on. Nevaeh, for Schoology assignments, like the papers and stuff that you've done, for right now, just kind of keep them. If we go back to school, I will take them when we go back to school. If we don't go back to school, I don't know. We really haven't heard anything about that yet. So I don't know how I will get assignments from you all yet. Any other questions that you may have for me? That's weird. I'm not for sure why it's cutting out, Cindy. Let me try something. Is anybody else having problems with the sound? I see some other viewers, but then we don't have any questions. I'm trying to see what else I can do about the sound if the sound is messed up, but I don't think it is. Okay, I'm still looking to see, make sure that my sound is okay for you all. Okay, so some of you are on here. I guess I could go over some systems and maybe you all can just watch. Maybe you all don't have a YouTube account and that's why nobody's commenting. But I can just kind of grab some of your work here. Okay, so I see one thing. Nevaeh asked, can I show an example of systems of inequalities? And sure, I can do an example of system of inequalities. My regular, who this is for right now, hasn't gotten there quite yet. So they're going to get there, I think, next week, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull up my schedule. So yeah, so regular, you guys will get to this, the systems of inequalities, next week. So I can do one of these right now, and then I will go back and I'll do maybe a system of eliminations for you all. So this was an assignment that I had for systems of inequalities. It's just like an example assignment. So I'll just do one of these real quick, and this is going to be like a good review for those of you who are in my third period. Okay, so systems of inequalities. So I'm going to do number 1 right here, and for this one, I'm just going to graph it, and that's all you have to do with systems of inequalities is you just graph. So I'm going to graph this one first, and it's already in slope-intercept form. So to graph that in slope-intercept form, I'm just going to go to the y-intercept, which is 5. And then my slope, which is -2. So that means I go down 2 over 1. And then this is a greater than. Okay, so it doesn't have the or equal to. So that means that I am just going to draw a dotted line. So remember, if it has the or equal to, that's a solid line. But since it does not, that is a dotted line. And then the thing that usually messes you all up is now you have to do shading. So with shading, you pick a test point. So I'm going to pick test point 0, 0. And I'm going to test to see if that's actually a solution or not. So I'm going to put 0, 0 in there. So 0 in for x, 0 in for y. And I'm just doing the first equation right now. So I'll get -2 times 0 is 0, and then I got 0 plus 5. So I've got 0 is greater than 5, which that's not true. So that means that I'm going to shade on the opposite side of where that test point is. Okay, and so now I've got to repeat this process again, but now I'm going to do it for the second equation. So I'm going to go down to -3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go up 1 over 1 because that's what my slope is. Okay. This is an or equal to, so that means I do a solid line. And then I'm going to shade. I'm going to do test point so I can figure out where I'm going to shade. So I'm going to do 0, 0. When I substitute 0 in for y and then 0 in for x, I can see, okay, what do I have a true statement? It says 0 is less than or equal to -3, which is not true. So again, I shade on the opposite side of my test point. So that right there would be my solution area right here. Again, if you're from my third period, we haven't gotten to that yet. You guys are actually going to do that first thing next week. But Nevaeh did ask this question. So Nevaeh, hopefully that helped. Let's go and do some systems by elimination, since this is for third period, and that's kind of where you guys are at. And I have a feeling, like looking at some of your discussion posts, that's what you're confused on, is the systems of elimination. And Nevaeh, if we need to do some more of these, we can after we do some elimination ones. So I'm going to pull up this sheet, which is the systems of elimination. And I'll wait just a second and I'll see, do any of you have any questions like particular to this one maybe? And if not, I'll just start doing a couple, and maybe those of you who are still on here, you can check it out and see. Because this is the practice that was posted. You only had to do the odd number ones. And I did get a message from somebody that they can't see comments or make comments in Safari. Like if you're using your phone, they had to use the actual YouTube app. So, but remember, you also need to have an account to be able to use or to make comments. So any questions in particular? Okay, so I'll just start going over number one. I'll just start going over some of these, and then hopefully this is what you all need. So on number one, okay, so we're solving this by elimination, and the whole goal with elimination is we want to eliminate one of the variables, okay? So the goal of it is the name of it. So what you're looking for when you're trying to eliminate one of the variables is that you want the coefficients, so the numbers that are in front of the variables, you want those to be the same number but opposite signs. So, you know, sometimes it'll work out that you'll have the same number opposite signs and you can just add them together. And sometimes you don't have that. So we're going to just take this, and if you notice, like if we just add these together right now, we couldn't eliminate one of the variables because we have an x, you know, we have 1 and 5. If we add those together, those would not eliminate. If we have -2 and 3, we add those together, you get 1. Those wouldn't eliminate. So I am going to have to manipulate one of these equations. Okay, so the way that I'm going to manipulate one of these equations is I'm going to try to make it so that I have the same coefficient for one of these variables. So for example, this one right here has the x right here has a coefficient of 5. This x right here has a coefficient of 1. Okay, well, think to yourself, how could I change this 1 into a -5 so that when I add these together, they would eliminate, they would turn into 0. So I can multiply this top equation by -5. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this top equation and I'm going to multiply it by -5. So I've got -5 times 1x is -5x. -5 times -2y is +10y. And now I got negative 5 times 12 is going to be negative 60. And then the bottom equation, I'm not going to do anything to it at all, because now if you look, when I multiplied that top equation by negative 5, now I've got the same coefficient here, but opposite signs, so that I can eliminate this variable. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add these together. So this cancels out. 10 plus 3 is 13. Then negative 60 plus negative 44 is negative 104. And now I've done exactly what I needed to do to eliminate one of my variables. My x is gone, and this is what I want. I want just one variable left over. So now I'm going to solve this equation. So to solve this equation, I divide by 13. So when I divide by 13, I'm going to get negative 8. And then I'm going to substitute in negative 8 into one of these equations. And it doesn't matter which equation you substitute into. It's just that you need to substitute that y back in so that you can get your x. Because remember, systems, they are intersection points. The solutions to systems are intersection points. So I'm going to substitute negative 8 back into my first equation. And I'm going to substitute it back into the y. And then I'm just going to solve this. So I have negative 2 times negative 8. That's going to be positive 16. And then I can subtract 16. And when I subtract 16 right here, I get negative 4. So put that together, because you need an xy point. I get negative 4, negative 8, okay, because I want xy. That's the intersection point. If I was to graph this, I would get an intersection point. Okay, so I know there's a delay on my end, but if you have any other questions, you can drop them down in the comments. If you want to send me your questions through Remind, you can send me your questions through Remind too if you don't have an account and you want to ask the questions that way. I have my phone right here beside me, so I can take questions that way as well. Do you all want me to just do some more? Do you all want me to go to another sheet? It's all up to you. Just let me know. I'll give a few minutes. Let's see, what else could I do? Because I can just work out some more. Let me do another substitution. Or sorry, not substitution, elimination. Elimination seems to be the hard one. Let me do this elimination right here. I'll try number 9. Okay. I'm going to do number 9. So this is another elimination. So again, I want to eliminate one of the variables when I add the equations together, and I can't add them together and eliminate either one of the variables right now, so I have to figure out another way. So what I do is I go through and I ask myself, like, is there any way, I've got x, I've got 3 and 4. Like, is there any way that I could either like multiply something by 3 and turn it into 4? Or think about it the other way too. Is there any way that I could multiply 4 by something and turn it into 3? Okay, and I do that with both of them. And if you notice, like, I can't do that here. I can't multiply 2 by something and turn it into 5 or the other way. So I'm going to have to multiply both equations by a number. I'm going to have to manipulate both equations. So when you have to manipulate both equations, and here's a trick for those of you who are actually watching, you can actually do this with every single elimination problem if you want to. It might cause you to have to do just a little bit more work, but it works like every time and you don't really have to think about it too much. I can pick one of the variables, either one I want, and since I know that I want like a positive and a negative in order to eliminate, I'm going to do the y right here, because look at the y, it's already a positive and negative. And I'm just going to think, I've got 2 and 5. What are some common multiples of 2 and 5? Okay, and when I'm saying multiples, what I mean is, think about like the multiples of 2 is 2, 4, 6, 8. Multiples of 5 is 5, 10, 15, 20. Well, what's a common multiple of 2 and 5? 10. So I can multiply both equations by whatever number it's going to take to turn these two right here into 10. So what can I multiply 2 by to change it into 10? 2 times what is 10? Well, 5. Okay, what can I multiply 5 by to change it into 10? I can multiply by 2. 5 times 2 is 10. And so I'm going to multiply both of these equations by that. And that trick works for every single problem with this elimination. Like, I could come over here and I could do the same thing. Pick one of your variables, okay? So like I could pick again y if I wanted to, or maybe this time I'll pick x. I've got 4 and I've got 5. Think about a common multiple of 4 and 5. 20. I can multiply 4 by 5 to get 20, and I can multiply 5 by 4 to get 20. Okay, and since these are both positive, that means that I need one of them to be negative, so I'm going to multiply that one by -4. So, like, you can always use that trick, okay, of figuring out what should I multiply it by to get a common multiple. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one out. So I'll multiply this one right here by 5. So 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times 2y is 10y. 5 times 26 is -130. 2 times 4 is 8x. 2 times -5 is -10y. 2 times -4 is -8. And then I'm going to add them together. So 15 plus 8 is 23. 10 plus -10, those cancel. -130 plus -8 is going to be -138. Okay, I'm going to divide by 23. So I'll get -138 divided by positive 23, and I will get -6. So I've got my x, so now I need my y. So to get my y, I'm going to substitute this x back into one of my equations here. And it doesn't matter which equation you choose. I think I'll do the bottom one this time just because it's got some smaller numbers over here. I won't have to deal with a -26. So 4 times -6 is -24. And then I've just got to solve this. So I add the 24. So that's going to give me 20 divide by -5, and I'm going to get y is equal to -4. So I get -6, -4. Okay, so there's another one. Okay, any others in particular? If not, I think I'm going to move on down to number 11. And I'm going to do that one because number 11 is a little bit weird. I'm going to wait just a second, kind of let the lag catch up here. Again, you can message me through Remind too if you don't have a YouTube account. Okay, I'm going to do number 11. Okay, so number 11 is a little bit weird, but for elimination, you do need to eliminate one of the variables, but something else that you have to have happen is you need both of your equations to be in the same form. So if you look right now, these are not in the same form. This was in standard form, so I'm going to keep this one in standard form. This one right here is not in standard form, so I'm going to change it to standard form. So to do that, I'm going to move the x over here to the other side. So I'm going to have x plus 2y equals 5. So now I'm going to do elimination, and look right here, okay? I can't just add these together right now to actually eliminate. But what I can do is I've got 2 and I've got 1 on the x's. I could change this to a -2 and get it to eliminate by multiplying by -2. So I've got, let's see, I'm going to write this right down here. So I've got the first equation that I haven't changed any. The second equation, I'm going to multiply by -2. And then I'm going to add this together. So 3 plus -4 is -1y. 6 plus -10 is -16. Divide by -1. And then I'm going to get y is equal to 16. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and substitute this back in so that I can get x. I'm just going to substitute it into the first equation. Oh, sorry. That should be a plus. Okay, 3 times 16 is 48. Okay, then I subtract 48. Sorry that is messy. I'm going to get 42. Divide by 2, and I get x is equal to 21. So I got 21/16. Okay. Hopefully that helped you out. I was kind of hoping that I'd get a little bit more feedback from you all so that I would know exactly what you need. Because, I mean, I can sit here and work these problems out like crazy, but I don't know if they're actually what you need. I think I'm going to try another live stream with you guys all again sometime next week, but maybe we'll try it a little differently where I have you all tell me questions that you need answered beforehand. But I'll wait just a few more minutes. But if nobody else has any questions, I think I'll end this video a little short because I'm not seeing any response from you all, and there's only a couple of you on here. And remember, you can come over to the honors live stream that's going to happen at 2 o'clock. I've got more people in my honors class, so hopefully there'll be a little bit more interaction in there. Come on, wait just a few more minutes, see if anybody else pops on. Okay, I'm going to end this. We will try it again next week, but I'll be a little bit more prepared. Next week, I will ask you for questions beforehand, maybe on a Schoology update. But remember, guys, you can always ask me questions anytime. You can message me through Schoology. I know it's not very, it's having some issues. It's not very reliable, but feel free to message me on Schoology. Also, you can email me. You can send me questions through Remind. Whatever you need, don't be afraid to do that. But yeah, if we don't have any more questions, I am going to go ahead and hop off here. Okay, guys, so feel free to join when I do the honors live stream here at 2 o'clock. I will see you all later. Bye.